Hello there! Up Studio! Welcome to my modding tutorial for Knight of the Old Republic. Today I'm gonna show you the whole process involved to edit the game modules, which mean editing the game levels, adding or modifying NPCs, adding or modifying objects and stuff like that. This is a process I used by making my More Enemies On mod series for Knight of the Old Republic 1. But this tutorial should be relevant for the Sith Lords as well. Do not bother the complete mess that my computer is. Also, I'm French, so sorry for my accent. Now that we got this out of the window, let's dive into it. The most important software is Holocron Toolset. This is a very versatile software that allows you to do a ton of stuff. Basically, with this software you can get access to every files contained within the game and extract them. You can also open and edit some files, such as NPCs, items and stuff like that. This is how it will be displayed when you first start the toolset. First, you need to set up the path that Holocron will use to gain access to the game files. We are gonna go to File, then Settings. Usually, Holocron will automatically detect your installed games and they should be displayed here, in this box. Now, you can check the path that Holocron uses. If you are using a GOG or a physical version, it should be installed in C Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic. But if you are using Steam, it should be installed in C Programs, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. As you can see, I have two versions of Knight of the Old Republic here. I use one vanilla version of the game, and the other one is my modded version, so I can go back and forth between the vanilla files and my modded version of the game. Now that Holocron is properly set up, you can now access the game files. Simply select the game you wish to edit in this small box there, let Holocron load the files, and here we are. As you can see, we have multiple sections over there. Core contains most of the game files, creatures, objects, script, dialogues, etc. Saves are your saved games. Module is a section we will be using later on. You will notice that some files are not in the core sections and are only installed to specific modules. If you do not find a specific file within core, you will have to check the module files. Override is a folder for mods. Everything installed here will override the base game files. However, installing files here might cause a lot of trouble, especially if you have files bearing the same names contained within the modules. You should install less stuff as possible there, but more insights about that later and how to properly install your edits. Lastly, we've got the textures, environments, weapons, icons, stuff like that. Editing objects and stuff like that may take some time with Holocron. That's why I use another software named KGFF. As you can see, you can open the file instantly and edit the different rows. Here we have an NPC sheet. We can modify everything, hit points, statistics, items, but some rows, such as feats, require a specific number. And that's why I use Holocron to edit feats, because I do not have these numbers in mind. You will need two things to properly install your edited files. The first thing is a Tslpatcher executable. You can extract it from the K1CP mod that I will be linking in the description. I will also provide a link to the original Tslpatcher files. Within this file you will find a very important README that will provide lots of informations that I will not provide in this video. The last thing you need is a software called ChangeEdit. This software will basically tell the Tslpatcher executable what to do, what files to install and where. I will detail the complete process at the end of the video. Now that we have all the required softwares, we can dive more into the module edition. Open Holocron Toolset and go to the module section we saw earlier. If you have a vanilla version, you will have two different types of files, .rim and /s.rim. The .rim contains the level datas. The /s.rim contains the files related to the level, NPCs, items, dialogues, scripts, etc. If you have a modded version of the game, you might see .mod files. This type of file is a way to override the vanilla level and contain both the .rim and /s.rim datas. So, the first thing we want to do is create a vanilla.mod file, where we will be installing all our modified files later. Luckily, Holocron now supports this functionality. To do this, simply select the module you wish to edit. You can select either the .rim or the /s.rim, because the .mod will be pairing them both. Then click on Extract Selected. Now you have to change the file type here and select .mod. Now you have to rename it exactly the same as the .rim or /s.rim file. In this case, it will be 10m14aa. Alright, as you can see, we now have a single file containing every data needed. This is where we are going to install every modified files later on. Alright, so now we can dive more into the module editing. So, we're gonna go back to Holocron Toolset and we're going to check the .rim that we want to edit. Here there will be three types of files, .are, .gyt and .ifo. The .are and .ifo are not that important. I never edit them because it's stuff about how lightning will be taken into account and more visual stuff. So I only care about the .gyt. This .gyt, you can extract it and put it wherever you like. And we're going to open it to see what is contained there. So this is basically the level editor. As you can see, we have a ton of icons here. And every icons are related to a file contained in the /s.rim we saw earlier. So the .gyt is a way to tell where the files must be placed within the level. Sorry. So you can filter in the upper right what is displayed. You can select only the creatures, NPCs. You can select the doors. Here you've got the placeables. So placeables are mostly objects like land speeder, plastic crates, whatever. You have the stores. You have the sounds. So if you come near the area where the sound is, you will hear it. You have the waypoints. So waypoints are a way to tell the NPC move there, patrol here, spawn here. But all of this process is done through scripting. So another stuff. Here you have the cameras. So this is for cinematics. I rarely edit them. Here you have encounters. So we don't have any in this particular level, but encounters are a way to make NPCs spawn when you cross a certain area. And lastly, we've got the triggers. So triggers can be for whatever, like make cinematic occurs, make NPC spawn too, can be a tons of stuff. Triggers are also used for mines, like frag mines, poison mines, whatever. You can also select each file in the box on the left. So this is very practical. By holding Control and rolling, you can zoom out, zoom in. And if you hold Control and left click, you can also move around. So as you can see, this software is like very, very practical and easy to use. I'm gonna show you how to place NPCs and objects. This is my own version of this map I'm working on right now. I'm gonna right click, and there you can see that you can insert whatever you wish. So we want a creature just outside this door. So I'm gonna click on insert creature. Now you can see that it asks me for the res ref. This is actually the name of the creature. So mine is Dan/Wonderhound1, whatever. You can see the positions here. So you have the X, Y, Z axis. You don't have to bother about the height or the Z axis when you insert creatures. They will always be on the ground. And here you have the rotation. So this is the way the NPC will be oriented. If you keep it to 0, it will always face up. As you can see here, you have a small line that will tell you where it will look. So we can edit instance. So we can rotate. If you go 180, it will face down, like this. If you go 90 degrees, it will face left. If you go 270, it will face right. So I want my creature to face the door. So I'm gonna go like this. Perfect. So now we have added a new creature. But I'd like to add a new object. So I'm gonna right click once again, insert placeable. And here we're gonna insert the same thing as here. I think it's a bench. So we're gonna go for the name of the object, PLC bench. We have our positions here. The bearing is the same thing as orientation. So I'm gonna insert it. But for objects, the X, Y, Z axis, the Z axis is very important, because if you do not edit that, it may spawn under the ground or in the sky. So you will have to tweak this value. Myself, I look at some items near it. So we have the exact same object here, and the Z-axis is 1.495, whatever. So I'm gonna just copy and paste it to this object, so it will be displayed correctly. The tweak color stuff, I don't know what that is. I never use it. Alright, so now we should have a bench here and a new creature. So I'm gonna save that, and we're gonna see if our edits went well. I installed the file. I will show you after how to install them. Right, perfect. So now we've got our little guy here, and we've got the bench too. As you can see, I did some edits to the level, add multiple creatures here and there. These are the basics for objects and NPCs. As I said earlier, most of the icons that you see displayed in Holocron Toolset have files related to them, especially characters, objects, etc. So if we see our little creature that I spawned earlier, we can see that I actually have a file related to it. I will not dive deeply into character editing, but we already overviewed a little bit. You can do this either with Holocron or with KGFF that I showed you earlier. Also, keep in mind that the resref that you type in Holocron must be the same name as the name of the file. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you how to use Tslpatcher to properly install your files. So first you're gonna create a folder for your files to be dropped. So here I created one, ChangeEdit. It is empty at the moment. And the first thing you want to do is create a new folder called exactly like that, Tslpatcher data. Do not put any caps or whatever. So in this folder we're going to put every files or data we're going to bring to the game. Second thing we want to do is copy Tslpatcher executable. So I'm just going to take this one, whatever, just take one of the latest version of the executable. So I'm pasting it into the folder, not in the Tslpatcher data. Now we need to put the files we have edited and we want to bring to the game. So I'm just gonna take my files. So I've got the .gyt that we edited. We've got the .mod that we created earlier, that is the vanilla version. We're gonna take every files needed. So here I'm just taking one NPC sheet that I will bring to the game and that doesn't exist already. And also there is one last file that is info file. I don't know what is the format. I think it's .rtf. Yeah, it's .rtf. Actually, this file will display some informations when you start the patcher. Anyway, so the .gyt, the .mod, the files you need, and a little .rtf that will display informations needed. So I'm just copying, paste everything in Tslpatcher data. Alright, but at the moment our executable doesn't know where to put these files or anything. So we have to start the ChangeEdit software. Now you're gonna go to File, New, you go to your folder. So here we are, ChangeEdit, patch data, and you create a new file in Tslpatcher data and it should be named changes, just like this, and the format is .ini. Okay, so I'm gonna save this. As you can see, we have a brand new changes here in the folder. So now in the settings stuff, you will just change something here. You can either ask the user to select the folder or look up the folder path directly. And then on the right, you will have to choose a game. So to me it's Kotor 1. So yeah, look up folder path and Kotor 1. That's settings I use. So save changes, perfect. Now you're gonna go to install files. Here you can select whatever files or anything you want to install. So we're gonna select the file. The first file we want to install is the .mod. So we're gonna select it. Alright. And we're gonna install it to the folder named modules. I'm just gonna show you my game directory so you can see how it's done. So when you put a folder name here, they will take it from the game directory. So as you can see, in my Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic folder, I've got the modules folder here. So the module will be installed there. for this specific instance, you can do it manually, actually. You can just take the MOD file and drop it directly to the modules. But I'm just teaching you how to do it through Tslpatcher thing. So as you can see, I've got one already in modules. Anyway, going back. Okay, so this is the first file we want to install, because every modifiers, every NPC sheet and stuff like that will be installed upon it. Do not hit the replace existing, because if a user already has a modified version, you don't need to install yours, actually. So we're just keeping it that way. So folder name modules and the file, this is the module actually. And then you're gonna hit the up arrow. And there you go. So you have your file here. Then we're gonna install stuff inside this module file. So we have the .git that we edited. And now we have to change the folder name. So this is modules / then m14aa.mod. So this file will be installed there. You cannot do that otherwise. You have to use Tslpatcher. All right. So I'm gonna put it there. But for this file, sorry, you actually have to hit replace. Otherwise, it won't change what's inside the module file. So, okay. Now we have replaced this file. Then, in the same folder, we're gonna add the creature. So this little guy, you can hit replace or not. Not very important there. And that's it, basically. So we have the modified version of the level, and we have the new creature I brought there. So it should be done. Now you can save that. I'm gonna just edit the info. So I'm gonna tell tutorial module editing. So this is the title that the patcher will display, and just below the description. So courtyard test areas or whatever. I'm gonna save it. So now we have everything needed. So I'm gonna go back, and now we're gonna hit the executable. Yes. As you can see, I have the stuff that I wrote in my info file, like the title and the description. I'm gonna install mod. So I've got one warning. Why is that? Because I already have a module file that bears the same name, and we did not hit the replace existing. So it won't replace my actual file. It will only install the stuff. So yeah, the only warning is a module file that was already existing, so it doesn't matter. And then it replaced the .gyt in the mod archive. It installed the character sheet in the module archive. And if I go back to the game, you will see that my modifications actually worked. As you can see, there are multiple files that got created when I started the executable. So you have the install log that will basically tell you what happened. So this is the same stuff that you get once you finish the executable. And you also have the backup folder. So it will actually give you a backup of every files you installed there. Alright, so if anything went wrong, you can just go back to what it was. The process is exactly the same if you wish to install new placeables, scripts, dialogues and so on. Simply install them to the newly created .mod and everything should work as intended. I didn't mention it, but you don't need to install stuff that is already in your .mod. You can simply call the NPC or object by filling the proper resref in Holocron Toolset. Last words about Override. Override is a pretty useful folder, especially for visual improvements. Usually when you download a visual mod, texture will be installed there. I, myself, put my items as well there. But you should be wary about anything else and install less stuff as possible in Override. I have one specific example in mind. I downloaded the Drop Those Lightsabers mod, and it required installing 2 NPC sheets to override. This is a small mod that makes 2 NPC drop their lightsabers at the beginning of the game. However, I encountered a game-breaking bug toward the end of the game. I couldn't even progress further and finish the game. It was because 2 NPCs in Starforge module had the same name than the 2 NPCs from Endar Spire. As the 2 NPCs sheets were dropped to override, they would override any NPCs bearing the same name within modules. That's why you have to use Tslpatcher and install the files separately into different modules. I hope I made my point clear. One last word. I did not specify it, but you actually have another tool. If you hit the tools in the Holocron Toolset toolbar, you will see the module designer. This is a way of previewing your level edits in 3D. This is very useful, especially for camera orientations, but I rarely use it because it's kinda laggy. It takes forever to load the level, but you might have a use for it if you wish to edit cameras especially. Please keep in mind that my tutorial is a very basic tutorial. There are a lot of stuff to cover. Hopefully I will do other tutorials showing you other functionalities or how to properly add some other stuff, such as mines, or frag mines or poison mines, because you cannot simply add them into the GUIT. So stay tuned for more. This is the end of the tutorial. I hope I was clear enough and helped you modding your game. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in comments and I'll see you in the next one.